They were outside.
All right.
All right.
Ready now. Colleen, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, are we excited? I'm excited, great. All right, I think we're gonna get started and.
I've never seen this before.
Okay.
Was on this morning for
Does it go away?
retirement board. Maybe if you click it, the enhanced or I don't know. We just left it on for retirement, but you did.
Swap it and we can mess with it in a second. Okay. Given what time it is, I'm gonna go ahead and call to order the City of Burlington's Board of Finance meeting on Monday, August 24th at 5:06 p.m. Our first item is the agenda. Is there a motion on the agenda? Moved by Councilor Carpenter. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Barlow. Any discussion on the agenda before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. On to public forum. It is the practice of the Board of Finance to first go to members of the public in the room and then online. And is anyone here? I see only city staff. Thank you for being here, city staff, but you're not here for public comments. We'll go online. And yep, former city councilor Sharon Busher. Welcome, Sharon.
Hi, good evening. It's a gorgeous evening, actually. I have one quick question. It has to do with your item on deliberative about the traffic fund transfer. And I don't expect Chapin or others to have a crystal ball, but the memo says that I understand the rationale and that all makes sense to me, but it does draw the traffic fund down to zero. And I feel that's a little risky. So I wondered, I know it's done a little better the last year or so, and I wondered if Chapin or others anticipated a certain amount of money coming in over this fiscal year so that we would have a few dollars if something unexpected happened. I understand the memo says nothing, is anticipated in the next year or two, but life doesn't always go that way. So I just felt uncomfortable with a zero fund and was hoping that someone could answer that question about whether there'll be some anticipated revenues coming in this year. Thank you.
Sharon. Is anyone else online? You can raise your Zoom hand if you'd like to participate in public forum. Otherwise, I will close public forum and we'll move on to our next item, which is the consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? Moved by Councilor Carpenter, thank you. Seconded by Councilor Barlow. Any discussion on this matter before we vote? I will just make a quick note since we do have our EPRW Director Phil Lewis online, an appreciation around the childcare space that we've reactivated at the Robert Miller Center. Since we all know that having childcare, especially in the New North End, having access and a site is so critical. So I just want to acknowledge that's on the consent agenda. But any other discussion before I call the question? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. All right, on to our deliberative agenda. Item 4.1 is request to execute a contract. You can start coming up while I read the very long title here. Contract with the Jones Payne Group Incorporated, or JPG, for the construction oversight services for an amended previous authorization for approximately 58 housing units, including bid one. I assume that's units. Yes. Okay, units for bid one and pending bid two on the airport's residential sound installation program funded by the Office of Local Defense Community Corporation. Airport team. Hello.
Hello, yeah, so I'm here very limited. This is Larry Lackey, Director of Planning, Engineering, and Sustainability. We can describe the project and why we're here today.
Sure. I think everybody's familiar with our residential sound installation program that we provide to neighbors in the higher decibel areas. So this, what we did is we received a grant last year from the office, well, the Department of Defense, basically, to do home improvements for about 58 homes. And that's how we estimated based on previous costs. So we're just, so on top of that, we have to do construction administration, mechanical, electrical reviews, acoustical follow-ups, environmental, that would be like lead and asbestos, and also resident project representative. So this is a contract for Jones Payne Group to oversee and do all those tasks. So what had happened here, which we previously got approved, what had happened here was under the review, there's 5 different spreadsheets from each different consultant with each type of work and each task that goes along with each item. So all that really happened here is and in the independent engineers review also, those same blank fee sheets got moved forward with the same formulas, but from the last cell that did not get picked up in the total formula on the summary sheet. So it got missed there. So that's why we're here to update that amount. It's not every line item was reviewed. There was an impact fee estimate done, everything. It was all consistent and fair and reasonableness. It's just one formula. And when we were reviewing this before we were going to contract, we caught something didn't make sense and we caught this. So we're just correcting it. We're ready to move forward now. We just received notice to proceed from OLDCC to start that construction. So we need this approved so we can do all the administrative stuff up front for a review of shop drawings and things like that. Then get into construction of those 58 homes over 2 bids.
So ultimately, same project, same scope of work, we're just revising and correcting the $500,000 or so. And moving forward with a secondary grant, because it's the first time we've ever received Department of Defense funding for this type of work. And we'll be able to start as soon as possible.
Which is a good point. This is an FAA, this goes into an FAA grant that we get to do this. Yeah. So.
Just make it more complicated.
Any questions or comments from the board on this item? Councilor Barlow.
And thank you for bringing this forward. I'm supportive of this tonight. I do have a question about the $500,000 error though. If you reviewed whatever processes went into that to make sure it didn't happen again, maybe it's a one-off and it would never happen again, but is there any kind of
I can assure you, well, it was a one-off here to go to city council with, or board of finance with, it was, but it happens. We catch it. In this case, we didn't until we did our final review before contract issuance. That's all.
And execution, so we haven't even
signed a contract. Yeah.
it's just had been here prior to a previous approval? Now you're back for that.
Just amending that amount. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
I will make the motion as recommended by the civil clerk.
I will totally indulge in that. Thank you, Councilor Barlow. Is there a second? A second by Councilor Travers. Any final thoughts or comments before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving on to our DPA traffic division team, we are on item 4.2, transferring fund balance between the special revenue funds.
Hello, good evening. I will turn it over to Division Director Jackie Asperity and then happy to answer former council questions and questions afterwards.
Yes, so we are, we're looking to move 500,000 from the traffic fund, which is 264, into the parking facilities fund, which is 265. We are going to use these funds to pay down the revenue anticipation note that was taken out in 2021. To date, we have not paid any of the we have not paid any of the principal on this loan. We have only paid interest for the last 3 or 4 years or so. Apologies, I don't have childcare, so there's a toddler here. So we, with the fund balance of 265, which is approximately 320,000 plus this 500, we're going to be using it to pay 800 plus down on this loan. And to the comment that was made earlier, we anticipate with unofficial numbers from fiscal year 26, Fund 264 will go from having a balance of 565,000 down to 65. We expect to add over 280,000 to that fund balance from the net positive of fiscal year 26. Additionally, fiscal year 26 for Fund 265, we're expecting a net positive of over 450,000, which we will also put towards this RAN at the end of the fiscal year when next year, if and when we have to redo this process again. I think that's it.
Yeah, this is a two-step process here. What Jackie has just talked about is the first step, and then right after this, there's an agenda item for renewing the RAN, which is the subsequent step here that has been done in partnership with the Department of Finance Administration. I would just say that, you know, I very much appreciate staff's work to keep expenses low and deliver the last 2 fiscal years, very positive numbers, both in 264 and 265, even with some lower parking numbers downtown. So the team is doing well to manage that, and we're happy to answer any questions moving forward. We are going to be returning in a month or two, seeking to incur additional borrowing to undergo some capital repairs in the garage. It's around 1.6 million. We are coordinating that with DFA and the city's bond council. And we have a plan put together, but we will be back in front of you likely in September or October for that approval. And we have done a pro forma out 5 years. We can meet the city's debt coverage ratio, and we're confident that this is a smart move to well maintain our garages while stewarding our finances.
Thank you, Jackie. Questions or comments from the board? Just the sound of efficient silence here, Jackie. You want the toddler to come on and okay, all right. Is there a motion on this item? Counselor
I
Carpenter?
would also move the motion as presented, Civic Clerk.
Thank you, Counselor Carpenter. Is there a second? Counselor Travers, thank you. Any further discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. On to the second piece, 4.3, approving and pledging of the credit of the city in anticipation of the receipt of the revenue from the traffic division. Hi.
Hi.
Joining us.
Yeah, so it is, as Chapin mentioned before, this is a two-parter or a multi-step process in order to kind of put a bow on what was after the pandemic a financing strategy to just keep us afloat, but because of the good work and the good fortunes or what have you, we'll take it either way we get it. Both of our traffic and parking funds have demonstrated continued surplus, and this is we had a surplus beginning at the end of last fiscal year, and now we will be able to start paying down this RAN instead of having to continually coming to this board to ask you for approval. However, this year we need to ask probably one more time so that we can have the time and leeway to settle the RAN that will come due in September 4th, I think is the date. 14th, yes, the 14th, September 14th. So we are asking for approval for a RAN to cover that process, and that with the financial transactions and potentially some options that we're working on with bond council, we'll have some longer term financing options with more favorable rates to pay off the remaining funds. But for this moment, we're asking for this board's approval for 1 year, $2.5 million RAN to allow us to take all of these actions throughout the course of this fiscal year.
Anything else to add? Jackie?
It's up to 2.5 million. Once we pay down the 800,000, will be about 1.7 million for this year. So we're making progress, and yes, we look forward to the day when we do not have a RAN. And can start building a fund balance as our garages are getting older, and we need to plan for the next chapter of those garages.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Counselor Carpenter?
Just a question and will probably give us is, how much has the RAN been in the previous years? And is it,
It was 2.5 million. In the memo, you'll see that following the pandemic, there was a shortfall of about 3.3 million. And some COVID relief funds were used to cover a portion of it. And 1 year RAN was received to cover the remaining balance. And we've continued to refinance that RAN on a yearly basis since that time. That's right.
and how much was that RAN?
2.5 million.
Okay.
It's been continuously
Okay.
2.5 million. And as of last year, we began to be in a position to start making meaningful reductions on that principal. In the item before, Chapin and Jackie requested the actions that we need to kind of make that official. We have the money in the bank, but we got to put it all in the right accounts and pay it off, which requires some board action.
Thank you.
Anything else from the board or I look for a motion? That's straightforward kind of day. All right. Is there a motion? Yay, toddlers. Oh, darn. Yay. Hi. Can't see us. Hi.
I would move the motion as presented, Civic Clerk.
Thank you, Counselor Carpenter. Is there a second? Thank you, Counselor Travers. Any discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much,
Very much.
Jackie and team. Thank you. Moving on to our last deliberative item with our Community Justice Center within CEDO. It is item 4.4, creation of 2 new positions within JC. Rachel?
Thank you. Yeah, this is just a continuation of the new growth of the CJC. One position would be 100% funded by the other municipalities in the former host of CJCs to fund a victim services specialist, a parallel justice program specialist, primarily working on victim outreach, but also community referrals. And the other would be an admin position to do more of just the day-to-day reception, like our drop-in center and the drop-in visits at the post departments, as well as just some communications, some reception, some volunteer coordination work. Yeah.
Rachel, questions or comments from the board? Yeah, Carpenter.
How much of your activity, so to speak, is outside Burlington?
It depends, like, it's hard to say a percentage wise, but all of the contracts now that we get from the state are countywide.
Okay.
We could take each program and say what percentage of those are Burlington referrals and what are beyond, but the state as a whole has moved towards countywide contract per county. Good.
I think that's good, right?
I think so too. It makes sense from the participants' point of view in terms of not having to be seen by multiple CJCs for dockets, that kind of. And from the referrers' point of view, people were confused before when there was 6 different entities in the county.
Counselor, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay. Is there a motion?
So I would move the motion as presented in Civic Clerk.
Thank you, Counselor Carpenter. Is there a second? Counselor Barlow. Any last comments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Rachel. And with that, friends, since we started late, this might have been a record. Check the record. But, with that, with no further business, I will adjourn the Board of Finance at 5:25 p.m. Thank you very much.